So what do you do when you have the money, you have the access, you have the resources, you have the accolades, you have the achievements, and then what? You're still not fulfilled. When you're pouring out so much, who pours into you?
Hey, this is Raina Campbell, your Chief Dream Driver, and welcome to the No Parking Podcast, where through conversations and discussions with creators like yourself, we'll find interesting approaches to help you take your dreams out of park, put them in drive, and ride towards success. Hey, Dream Drivers, welcome to episode 165 of the Dreams and Drive podcast. And today our guest is Tierra Burrell. Tierra is the founder of TierraGoesGreen, which is a lifestyle consulting and product line business. Tierra talks about her entrepreneurial evolution and why we as Dream Drivers really need to start paying attention to what we're feeding ourselves. And that includes physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And one of my biggest takeaways from this episode was the idea that nothing happens until you decide. So what are you going to choose? I think you guys are really going to enjoy hearing about Tierra's journey. She started out as a paralegal after college and then transitioned into being a makeup artist and then fell into the health and wellness sector. So there's so much for us to take away from this episode. Remember, you are always welcome to join in on the conversation. We are Dreams and Drive across the board, and you can use the hashtag Dreams and Drive as well. I love it when you guys are screenshotting and posting to Instagram stories or tweeting about us or even sending a Facebook link. You can even text this episode to a friend. So if you are enjoying it, please do that. It's still not too late to get some Dreams and Drive merchandise. So if you want to get a Dreams and Drive t-shirt, crew neck sweatshirt, or a hoodie, just go to dreamsanddrive.com/shop. And one more thing, I have a quick note. So this episode was done, true Dream Driver style. I had to get the interview done, but I wasn't able to do it in my normal setup. So we had to do this conversation via phone where I recorded the conversation. So there are some parts of the interview where my sound may be a little bit funky, but please forgive me for that. Anyway, I can't wait to hear what you guys think. I hope you enjoy the episode. Hi, Tierra. Welcome to this episode of Dreams and Drive. I'm so excited to have you on today.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor to actually be invited onto this awesome show. So thank you, Raina. I appreciate it so much.
We were talking about before we got started about how, I have a best friend named Claudine, and Claudine was the person who told me all about your platform. I think originally we used Instagram, that she had tagged me in a post, and I've been following you for so long. So when your team reached out, I was like, whoa, this is so crazy because you were on my vision board, and now we're making this happen today.
That is so awesome. That is so awesome.
So I love to start our interviews going back in time. So, how would you describe yourself as an 8-year-old? What were the things that were inspiring you growing up?
I have always been in tune with fantasy and imagination, and I was the only child until I was 8 years old. My younger brother came shortly after that, so I was full of just colors and sparkles and, a lot of playfulness, but huge imagination. I've always been super crafty. So anytime you could find me as an 8-year-old, I'm always outside playing with the neighborhood kids or, really trying to utilize my creativity in some way, shape, or form. I built an entire dollhouse out of cardboard boxes,
What? We could have been I would have probably tried to sell the dollhouse, though. I'd have been like, we got to sell this. We got to rent this house to the kids.
It was so great. Yeah. So my little Barbie had her whole little mansion out of the little Aldi boxes. When you go to the grocery store and you have to get their boxes and put your stuff in there. So yeah, her sofa was a tissue box holder, so I've always been a super crafty, creative type of kid. So that's pretty much my upbringing, just very colorful and very imaginative.
What about the health? Were you health conscious at that age? I knew I grew up in a very, my mom, I call my mom a Whole Foods mom. She was so into her essential oils, organic food. So my house was not the spot you came if you wanted junk food, right? But what about you?
I was absolutely opposite. My family, they definitely, I'm from Ohio, so it's an agriculture state. So everything was very farm fresh. So we would go to the meat market, and my mom definitely had the staple for fresh fruits and vegetables. And she worked for a state, so a lot of her coworkers had their own farm. So that's what I knew, like kind of like potluck style type of communal type of food and eating and things like that. And of course, I'm 35, so I grew up in the 80s, and time and society has definitely changed, especially with the idea that we have around food. So my mom was very health conscious. Of course, she did not know, the implications of sugar and things like that. So I definitely wasn't limited. But, I grew up in a different time where kids are actually playing outside, and actually eating home cooked meals. And, in the 80s, it wasn't as prominent to have preservatives and, boxed and canned and jarred food. People were actually still cooking. There was actually a butcher that we went to once a month and things like that. So my mother and father, they definitely were very, very, very active, just me growing up. So my dad played basketball multiple times a week, and I would go, and my mother played volleyball. Hell, I think she still plays volleyball still at this age. So, I come from a very, very health conscious family. So as far as the food aspect, they definitely made better choices than what's actually available on the market and stuff now. And, times have changed drastically.
I know. Thinking about it, like the stuff that you see in the supermarket, it's just like, what? Like, what are these? Like, they are making everything possible now. I'm like, there's just so much more things that don't look like real food in the supermarkets. I feel like supermarkets, if they really just wanted to sell just fresh produce, they'd probably go out of business, right? Because it's just the amount of space they have to sell the other is so vast.
It is horrible. It is absolutely horrible.
So when you were growing up, early adolescent, older teenager, like what was the dream? What were you kind of focused on, Tierra being when she was out of the house and on her own?
I've always been focused on freedom. That has always been my ideal goal for every aspect of my life. So I still have major attachment issues, don't want to purchase a house and go into a mortgage, don't want to be locked into a car payment. I have really bad issues when it comes down to things like that. Because ideally, my entire goal is just ultimate freedom, like the freedom to roam in whatever capacity that I can. So I've always been smart. I've always been an intellect and an overachiever as far as like academia. So that part, I knew if you were smart, you have access to different things. So I had access and privilege when growing up because I made good grades and because I was an athlete and because, I did these things. I could flip. I was a gymnast and, I've always stood out in that aspect. But ideally, just my entire goal has always been ultimate freedom. So now at 35, I'm in a space to where I understand financial freedom and, credit freedom and, entrepreneurship type of freedom and relationship freedom, so it's all pretty much hand in hand goes in the same aspect, but my ideal goal is to own an island within the next 10 years. So by the time I'm 45, I want my own island where I can come and go and walk around naked if I so choose, and invite my other friends to walk around naked with me and grow whatever we want to grow and crop, and just truly that type of freedom. I really am about that life.
And that's so, like, thinking about it, right, closing your eyes, I could just envision that. And that must feel so empowering to have that as one of your goals that you're working towards. And I think that's something that a lot of us need to set those bigger goals that may not seem attainable right now, but it's what we're working towards,
Certainly. But everybody has their own objectives, everybody has, what it is that they actually want. And every choice gives you a chance to pave your own road. So each choice that I actually make, I just want to make sure that those choices are very well secured within strong intention.
So one part of the story that I want to get to, because I thought it's really fascinating. So you went to American University, right?
Yeah, in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, and you went, and so after you graduated, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is just what the internet was telling me, right? You worked as a paralegal, and you had like these stint of different jobs, and you realized that it wasn't for you, right? Can you talk through that part of your life? And you're like, wait, what am I doing?
Certainly. So I did the typical, narrative. I went to school, made good grades, came out, didn't have any babies, graduated, purchased a house, bought a car, get a good job. Like that's what we're taught to
do.
Wait,
how old were you? So, you bought a car and got a hat, what?
21. Told you that overachiever thing. So did all of that by the time I was 21. Finished undergrad in 2.5, 3 years because I went all year round. Like I was just like, okay, I'm just doing this in order to have the access. So I need the paperwork. I need the paperwork that says that I'm allowed to do this, that, and the other. So basically, long story short, and then I bought the house out of foreclosure, like with my partner at the time. So it's a whole nother thing. But during that time, it was like, okay, nobody prepares you for the now what. Now what? I did everything that I was supposed to do according to what everybody has led me to believe that I was supposed to achieve at this time. I did all that. Check, 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 check. Now what? So being 21, 22 at the time, it was like, okay, so now I'm corporate. I'm in a very prestigious law firm in Columbus, Ohio. That's the capital city of Ohio. So once again, that overachiever thing, I'm a token Black girl in this law firm. Nobody's doing what it is that I'm doing, especially at the age that I'm actually doing. So now what? So within that now what period, I was like, okay, I like people because as a paralegal, you're just pretty much stuck in books all day long, which is truly my preference. I'm a natural researcher, so I love reading. I love researching. That's kind of how I got here. So to have that actual foundation in a professional setting, it definitely helped me thrive. And I love what I actually did at the time. But I was bored, like, okay, now what? I still wanted that people interaction. So I picked up a couple other little jobs. So at that time I was working at Curves, and that was like at the bottom level, the bottom floor of the corporate building that I was working in. And the law firm was like on the 10th
workout,
floor.
Right? It's a
yeah,
gym,
it's like a little workout gym. Yeah, it's a little circuit training for females only. So I picked up, just a couple hours a week just to have that fitness aspect and have that people interaction as well. So I would go down there at 5 o'clock and just close it out. So from 5 to 7, I would be there daily because that's traffic time anyway. So I would do that, and then I started doing makeup. So I had this huge makeup collection, and my biological father is a professional makeup artist. So he would send me, a whole bunch of stuff just all the time, random times of the year. So I had this extensive makeup collection, not knowing, what everything actually did. And I've never been a makeup wearer. Like I've always been that makeup artist who didn't wear makeup. So I was doing makeup, I was working as a paralegal, and I was working in the fitness field at Curves. Absolutely amazing, and still was not fulfilled. So what do you do when you have the money, you have the access, you have the resources, you have the accolades, you have the achievements, and then what? You're still not fulfilled. So I just knew that there had to be more to life. Like there had to be more to life than what I was doing because it was becoming very redundant, and I was only 22, 23 years old.
So what was the decision? What did you decide to do that would help you get out of this and towards that freedom that you always wanted?
I don't even think that it was something that I necessarily did. I think that the way that destiny is designed, it starts taking things and moving things out of your path in order for you to get out of your own way. So I broke up with my relationship at the time, and we co-owned the house together. So I was about to have to start over completely. And during that time, I was getting laid off as well from my corporate jobs and my corporate positions because I was always the first one come in. So that's when the recession was hitting. So this is 2002, 2003. And that's when the recession started hitting. So, companies were definitely downsizing. And because I was fairly new, first to come, first to go, that type of mantra. And then with that breakup, so I said, hey, if I'm about to have to start all over completely, I'm going to do it somewhere else. And that is where I transitioned to Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta, Georgia is where my biological father resided, and I decided to go full-time into makeup. So I had a third key position, which is kind of like a management supervisor position at Mac Macy's Lenox. So Lenox Mall is like, oh, my gosh, and if you were a Mac employee back in 2001, 2002, you have made it. That is a pinnacle of the career.
I have to pause it really quickly. I feel like Mac was probably the to be because I interviewed on episode 95 celebrity makeup artist Ashunta Sharif, and she said that when she got to Mac, that was also the same thing she thought, like, oh my gosh, I made it,
And it was like a critical point in her career where she realized she could also go on to do other things. Okay, but sorry.
Oh, yeah.
You see parallels between people's journeys sometimes.
Exactly. That's what it is. And it's definitely has changed so much, just the beauty standards and what has happened within the beauty industry over the years. But that's just progression anyway. But yeah, at that time, you have made it, like absolutely made it. So I transitioned, started doing music videos and really allowing that position to lead me into different spaces. And being in Atlanta, Georgia, it is prominent within the stripper community. Like, you come to Atlanta for lemon pepper wings and for the strip club. So I had a huge stripper clientele, definitely huge stripper clientele. So it was absolutely amazing, just to really get outside of my own way, once again, just by destiny, designing it a certain way. Because had I not lost my jobs, had I not broke up and ended that relationship, I would have never left. I would have never done anything. I'd probably be in Ohio. I damn sure would be a baby mama by now. And that's pretty much it. I just would have stopped myself, because I believe you're all a product of our surroundings, and that's what everybody else is doing.
Did you at this point, I know what you're doing now, did you ever think that you would one day branch out into the health entrepreneurial field, or, talk about wellness and do all that you're doing now? Like, how did that come to be?
Man, so this Tierra is the Tierra that I felt, this is the Tierra that I knew was inside of me. I had no idea how to access her. I had no idea how to reach her or connect with her or to truly utilize her. This is the person that I dreamed of being. So I think we all have that inner voice on the inside, and, it's whispering and it's saying stuff, but we're either not courageous enough, or we're scared, or, you just truly don't want to go against the grain or go against what's actually normal. So navigating the beauty industry, I realized, people were hurting for something far more than eyelashes and eyeshadow. I knew that I could help people on a more impactful level. And that definitely transitioned me into this space of really merging health and beauty, because what beauty standards are, it's coming from an unhealthy place, and that place is internally and mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, all of those aspects. So I just decided to really change the narrative within inside of myself. I just changed within inside of myself, and everybody else, I guess, saw the light as well.
How you said that you always knew that this was inside of you? Like, how did you know that? And then what was the step that you took to break out and start carving a space for yourself within this niche?
Definitely. So the first step, I think, was just honestly to make a decision. The goal for all of us is to keep growing out of ourselves. We have to keep evolving to our best possible lives. So if I keep doing the same things that I've always done, I'm not going to access her. I had no idea. Once again, all of this is just by default. All of this is the side effect of what comes from me getting out of my own way. And I believe that the only thing that was whispering to me outside of just, our higher being and universal laws and so on and so forth, and DNA coding and things like that, it was just my higher self. So my higher self was inside of me, waiting on my basic self to get out the way. Take a nap, basic self, take a nap. Low self-esteem self, take a nap, scary self. We're all filled with all of these different aspects of ourselves, which is fine. It's no running from them. It's no denying them. It's just, who is it that's going to lead? All of the selves. So I believe that this Tierra is just my higher self that took the lead. Now, let's not get it twisted. The basic self is very, very, very well alive and primitive. My petty self is there. My toxic self is there. All of them are there, and they are alive and well. They just can't lead. They can't take control. They cannot make decisions. They're there, but they are not the leaders of this Tierra little machine.
I think I was on your Instagram page. You probably posted this sometime within the last week about the different chakras and how to know if they're blocked. Do you remember that post? And it was about if you're feeling something physically, how that may be manifesting like something. I have to look back at it to specifically know, but it was just so interesting to me that sometimes we don't think about how these ailments or these blockages that we're feeling in our lives may be connected to something a lot bigger. What did you do in order to really remove some of those blockages so that you could flourish and start really finding what it is Tierra was supposed to be doing at this point?
Certainly. One, like who you're meant to be evolves from where you are right now. So learning to appreciate those types of lessons and mistakes and setbacks as stepping stones to the future is a clear sign that you're moving in that right direction. So with me, I open myself to nature. I realized, okay, if I want to live my best life, how am I eating things that are going in a reverse life process? Because chakras and any type of energy work, all it is energy. So I wanted to align myself with the energy that I possibly could. And with that energy, it was fruits and vegetables. So I decided, okay, I'm only going to eat things that grow in the sunlight because it's energy. That's what chakras are. They're energetic systems. They're energetic centers all flowing through your body. So let me eat the same way that I want my energy to flow. So releasing those things, I believe that me going plant-based is what led me to that higher spiritual path, because then your DNA unlocks. You're able to actually access different things within inside of yourself that's already there. Our flowing through our blood is like living libraries and DNA helixes and all sorts of stuff. Nature knows how to respond to nature. That's why you feel better when you eat apples and you feel better when you eat grapes as opposed to biscuits and, chicken and things like that. You feel better when you're eating things that are actually of this earth because that is what your DNA knows how to respond to. So I'm also all for psychedelics. I did some mushrooms. Okay, so doing mushrooms. Oh, yes. Yes. Mushrooms are awesome. Like mushrooms actually allow you to go inside of the layer of consciousness where the shapes and colors are dancing with each other in a Studio 54, and they allow you VIP access with your wristband. It's like, whoa, I'm allowed to actually see this. So you have a better appreciation when you actually do psychedelics, because I'm all for consciousness, but our human brain is so limited, it's so linear, we're on this 3-dimensional plane when there's 7, 8, 9 dimensions that we have access to tap into, but which plant is really going to grant me that access? So we have all sorts of different things that are able to actually expand our consciousness. It's just all about how we truly utilize them and how ready we are for those plants. At the end of the day, you can't really access divinity when you really deny water. You're walking around dehydrated, we're on a water planet, and your body is over 70, 80% water, yet and still you don't drink water. So I believe it's all about access and where you are in that space and time to where you're actually allowing, yourself to truly access.
So let's talk a little bit about the entrepreneurial front. Because I know, as you built your brand, you started to build a following. When did you start realizing that you could teach people and also at the same time make a living from teaching health and wellness and teaching people how to eat well and live well? What was that whole entrepreneurial I know you had always been an entrepreneur with when you ventured into makeup, being a makeup artist, but what about this next front? How did that start? And what were the lessons you learned?
It was truly just the courage. It was truly just the courage, once again, just to get out of my own way and really make sure that I made a difference. Now, of course, there's all sorts of hurdles and stuff that come up when you're truly growing an organic business. I didn't have a blueprint, I've been plant-based for 10 years. So think about, yes, now everybody's seeing with the health and we have Netflix that has access to us. But I come from a time where I decided on this journey without, Netflix, without internet being, primitive and, at the tip of our fingers. I was still back in BlackBerry days, so a lot of the access that people have nowadays to get outside of their own limits definitely is something to be utilized now. Really making a living at it, once again, 100% organic. I am learning every single moment, every single day. I fuck up a whole lot, a whole lot. But I believe that all of our hurdles have meaning, and being open to learning from those challenges is the difference between succeeding and getting stuck. So I don't allow myself to get stuck. I don't allow nothing to get stuck. If I'm going to eat something processed, it's not going to get stuck inside of me. If I'm going to eat a donut, it's not going to get stuck inside of me. If I am, stuck in a redundant workout, relationship, friendship, anything like that, I don't believe in getting stuck because everything is ever flowing. So really monetizing and making money off of it. Once again, it is still 100% organic. I have no idea, like zero idea how it came down to that. I just realized, hey, I know a whole bunch of stuff, and you paid a doctor for them to know a whole bunch of stuff. So I believe that we all invest in what it is that we truly value. So if you value my intellect, if you value my expertise, if you value my knowledge and my wisdom, then you will pay for that time for me to focus 100% on you. If I make beautiful creations and you already trust me, then you trust that anything it is that I give to you or give to you that is birthed from me is of great value. And unfortunately, we all have to pay a lot of money in order to survive in this world of drywall, Pepsi, blue jeans, and concrete. So I wish I could do all the things for free and still maintain my lifestyle and so on and so forth, but none of us can. So I value myself. So therefore, my clientele values me.
What was a time in your business that you almost did get stuck? You know how you said, like, you don't allow yourself to get stuck, but was there a time or a specific challenge when it comes to entrepreneurship that you really had to work through in order to get that moving along?
Oh, yes. Oh, gosh, yes. I have gone through different assistants, different partners, different even relationships. Nobody really teaches you how to balance the emotional and entrepreneurial states all within the same aspect. Like a lot of our businesses are birthed from our creativity, and we try to allow that creativity to attach itself to loved ones and people that we already have established trust, not realizing we're playing a whole different game. Like the people that you expect or anticipate that will support you and be there for you, they're 90% of the time not the one. Like you're finding stuff out of complete organic strangers who support you way more than the people that have seen you struggle, that have heard your vision, that have seen your plans, that have seen you grinding. They're typically not the ones that is there for you. So definitely, I have definitely gotten stuck a few times and have to make a lot of tough choices. But anytime I make those tough choices, especially now, I know that I only get better. It's no different than trimming your ends, like trimming the ends of your hair. Like, I don't really want to cut all this part off but you already know it's going to grow healthier. Right. I understand nature in that same aspect, like I see it the same exact way. If you want to have a beautiful garden, it's going to get messy first. You're going to have to tear up the dirt and dig up stuff and uncover, copper wires and glass particles, and you're going to cut yourself and be dirty and stinky. And then you won't see the return for a very long time. But you're nurturing it, and your good intention and your love and your energy is going into it. So the flowers may outgrow your lifespan, so I know I plant seeds all the time, and majority of the things that have bloomed from me, from my influence, from my energy, from my contact, from my presence, it'll never acknowledge me. They'll never acknowledge me. They'll never, if people wake up and think that they're just inspired all of a sudden, not realizing that somebody is sitting there tilling that soil. Somebody is sitting there nurturing and doing the work that paves the way for others to just trolley on down, so I know that I am one of those, I'm one of those construction workers, I know that I pave roads. I know that I create movements. I know that I know me. I know what I'm doing, and I know energy, and I know what I'm connected to. I know the source. So by me knowing everything it is that I know, that's what I allow to truly lead me, as opposed to primitive human behavior. It's just way bigger than that.
About creating a movement, right? I saw social media definitely being something that's been a great vehicle for you to find new people, to build your audience. What has been social media's impact for you throughout the years? And what advice would you have to somebody trying to build health conscious brand on social media and is struggling right now?
Read books. People take books for granted. Being able to read is a luxury. Even though through social media we have access to so many different people. I love social media. I am a social media advocate Social media has done nothing but great things to me and allowed my life of expansion. I have met amazing humans off of social media, really great friends, bonds, connections, different heightened levels of perception. I love social media, so I am here for social media. Me actually giving advice to someone else in this space, I literally say, stop scrolling so much and pick up a book. A book allows your world to expand. It truly allows your world to expand. It brings you back down to yourself, and it brings forth a space of solace, not ebooks. No ebooks, because you'll get stuck in that trap of that mental. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So pick up an actual book, go to Goodwill, they have books for $1. So you can go in there and just find anything that actually sparks your interest. But I say read. I am an avid reader. I really, 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 that's one of my most favorite things to do on the entire planet is sit down with myself in my body, in my skin, and just read. Anybody, especially if you're trying to search for anything, that's the difference between you and an actual expert in any field, is y'all just read different books. So why not just read their books?
So how does that translate, though, then to building the business? Like, you read the book. Let's say you go and you read, right? Now, what do you do with that knowledge, that learning, that you can apply to help you along your entrepreneurial journey? Or maybe you can talk about how you may have done it.
Oh, yeah. Because books, for me, it used to be a way to escape. Now I consider reading a good book a sacred indulgence. It's a chance to be any place that I actually choose to be. So say you're stuck in the entrepreneurial grind and you can't really go where you want to go or have that vacation home. When you are in a book, it allows you to escape mentally and feel like you are in that vacation home. So it gives you that motivation and that drive that social media just probably wouldn't. Yes, you can sit there and look at beautiful pictures and wish and dream and then get pissed off because the thoughts are selling flat tummy tea suckers and they're able to be in those spaces, but we don't realize that we are trapped in these mental vortexes, so it's a chance to be any place that you choose to be when you allow yourself to get lost in a book as opposed to lost in a scroll hole. So when you get lost there, you're able to apply those things because it's embedded inside of your mental psyche as opposed to a 30-second, 5-second, just flip through script, scroll over, thumb this way, go to the left, go to the right. It allows you to really, really, really allow your perspective to shift into a different space of perception. So any entrepreneur, that's what they're doing. Gary Vee is one of my number one. I love going to him just for business advice and things like that. And he is all for social media, but Gary Vee gets it. He sits down, he works out, he reads books, he shifts things in different perspectives. So what I know for sure is reading opens you up. It exposes you and gives you access to anything that your mind could actually hold, but so many of us now are ADD. And really, really, really bad attention span. So you're not going to get where you want to be if your ass can't even focus the way that you need to focus. Anybody's successful, and I know that what I love most about reading, it gives you the ability to reach a higher ground and keep climbing up. Something spiritual about the success in being still. There's a success within stillness. Russell Simmons wrote an amazing book, and it's talking about meditation and things like that. But, once again, another successful person who's written a book, Tony Robbins, another successful person who's written a book. He wrote a book called Awaken the Giant Within. Everything that you need to know in order to be motivated, forget a meme, forget a hashtag, forget all this old new age bullshit. It's in that book. But we don't slow our lives down enough in order to really map out what's already here by already successful people. So I don't listen to these people nowadays. I listen to the old school ones who have already done what it is that I'm trying to accomplish.
It's funny. I think I was reading this somewhere that now, reality is going to become a luxury.
Reality is becoming a what?
A luxury. We are so immersed in this virtual reality world, our phones, the internet, augmented reality, that just being and existing without all of that stuff is going to become the new luxury. That's why all these retreats and the travel industry is really, really is booming, because people are realizing that they have to invest in getting away and being regular in some way. You know what I mean? It's really odd when you think about it.
It matters. Balance is essential.
I could not have you on the show, Tierra, without actually, just talking a little bit about your expertise. I was watching, I'll link to all this stuff because you just have such a wealth of knowledge when it comes to what we're putting into our bodies and how what we affects who we are. I think I was going through my screenshots the other day, and you had this graphic that was talking about the best type of food for your body, so like ginger and turmeric and all this other stuff. What do you think? Because our audience, we're creatives, we're entrepreneurs on the go. What do you see as being the biggest thing that a lot of busy millennials are neglecting when it comes to their health?
Water. Water and rest. It is so simple. We overcomplicate the hell out of it. We overcomplicate the hell out of nature. We're all living these warp speed life, coming down, trying to commute to work, coming down off of our ambient highs, yet and still looking for caffeine. And by noon, we'll be constipated. So when you nurture and support your body, it reciprocates. The basis of that support is exercise, like it or not, it's the most essential benefit for more energy. It's for more weight control, and it's a bonus. I know for sure that taking care of your body, no matter what, is an investment, and the return is priceless. So we put so much into our businesses and our brands and our logos and our computers and our technology, but yet and still we sacrifice ourselves. We're not even hydrated. If you're not hydrated, your brain doesn't even work. Your cognitive function does not work. Your immune system starts shutting down. And just like your cell phone, just like any other piece of, technology, your vehicle, anything is going to shut down if you keep running it against what is natural for it to run through. So water. At least 1 gallon a day. I think that is the most simple thing that anybody could possibly do to take a step in the next direction. So water and rest. We sacrifice our rest so much, so much. My phone automatically goes on do not disturb from 8:30 p.m. until 10:30 a.m. No matter what. People can't get through my gate. You can text me. My phone is not going off at all because I know how important it is to give myself the time, the energy that I give to the rest of the world. I will not allow that to be taken away from me. No. No.
Oh,
nothing's
man.
that important.
That's so hard. I could not. It's sad that I'm saying that, right? I could not imagine when just 10 years ago I didn't have a cell phone. But it's just not more than 10 years ago. But you know what I'm saying? It's just we have become so conditioned to thinking that we need it. And it's sad. Mm-mm.
It's not. We need our rest. We need our own. I love my thoughts. I really, really enjoy myself. And I have given so much of myself, to where the early parts of TierraGoesGreen, every single program participant had direct access to my cell phone. They could text me at any given time. And literally I would wake up every single day to at least 40 text messages by 6:30 a.m. All questions. All questions or yay reports. Yay, Tierra, I ate an orange today. Yay, I went and, I'm down to half a gallon of water. Now, mind you, it's really, really great that people need encouragement and they need that. But I realized when you're pouring out so much, who pours into you? When you're not able, when you're giving so much of yourself, you don't have anything for yourself. I found myself trying to escape my life, literally going to other parts of the planet in order to escape, but yet and still. But people are hungry, they're hungry for knowledge. They're hungry for wisdom. They're hungry for a difference. They're just hungry. And that started a form of codependency. So if you don't give yourself, that time, that energy in order to really get acquainted from yourself, all of it will be taken away from you. And then you're depleted. And then what happens when you are no longer who you try to be? Who you aspire to be within inside of yourself. So you can do it if you want to. I have learned nobody can have that. I only do things that promote joy, beauty, and usefulness.
What about the decision to go plant-based? And what can people? And I feel like that could be a whole another podcast episode. So I definitely just want to give the cliff notes here. But how has choosing to go plant-based for you really impacted your health, and like what can people consider, even if it's not 100% plant-based, like what are some simple things that we all can do to make sure that we're fueling our body so that we can fuel our dreams?
My decision to go plant-based was simple. I didn't want anything dead in my body, period. Like, I didn't want nothing dead inside of me. I don't want nothing robbing me of my energy. I have control issues. So the one thing that I can control is what I will and will not eat, period. So that is my way of inflicting my control issues that I still very much have. Is just what I will and will not eat. So now everything that I digest is just a very, very, very high standard and very high quality. And I feel that it is a space of classism, and I want to be in that upper class. So that's how I feel about food. So I only pick the best of everything. Some people pick the best bags and the best perfume and the best makeup. Fuck all that. Don't give a shit about none of that. I pick the best food, the best water, the best minerals, the best everything. So once again, the one thing that people can do to fuel their body is really drink water. I'm going to keep inserting that, because we always want good advice, or we always want good news about our bad habits, when that's just not the reality. Like if you smoke cigarettes, if you do not sleep, if you allow stress, an abundance of stress, your body will become imbalanced, and you are on your way to cancer, to autoimmune disease, to inflammation, to who knows what types of complications. So I don't want a complicated life in any capacity. So I believe that I picked a lifestyle that just has no side effects. There's no side effects of only eating plants. Zero. Like none. So that's why I eat what I eat.
Plant-based before, or did you transition into that?
Oh, no, I transitioned into it. I've always been a very conscious eater, but I have been plant-based for 10 years, 11 years, 11 years now.
So you never missed it, or never like, see, I love shrimp. I love shrimp, and it's just like, oh my God, I would just want it like at least once a month. It's just,
if you have it, I believe you can have what you have. I don't trust the United States and their government regulations. So if you love shrimp, have your shrimp. Don't have it here. Don't eat it here. Go and expand your world, expand your life, and have actual cultural experiences. Go to a place where they are catching fresh shrimp. Go to a place that's next to an ocean. Go to an actual, fish market that is on a pier. Have it there, as opposed to just every day, oh, man, I'm going to go ahead and, get the shrimp that goes with the salad. That's the problem. Is because, we should not have things that are readily accessible. Now, I am all for, hey, if we're going to Italy, fuck all this vegan shit, we're about to eat some pizza with some pepperoni. I believe in having cultural experiences. Here in the United States, the process is absolutely insane. The things that are allowed to be done to our food, to our vegetables, to our living beings. But, this beautiful country is founded off of death and lives from the very beginning. So it hasn't changed. It just looks different. So now, have those experiences, just have richer life experiences while you're actually going after them.
And do your research. That's the one thing I'm getting from just talking to you, right? It's like there's so much that you can learn if you're willing to do the research.
Exactly. People don't want to do the work. People really do not want to do any type of work pertaining to any of that. And we're in a country that spends 95% of our healthcare dollars on treating illnesses and less than 5% on staying well and preventing it. So that's ass backwards. But a lot of things about this country, and I'm not even going to go into politics and, right now, social problems, we're not even going to do it. But I'm saying this country does not have certain shit together, and it never has. Now it just looks different. So that paradigm just needs to change, and that paradigm all starts within the choices that we as individuals make for our own lives. So I am in the prevention industry. I'm not here to help, in a crisis space. I'm not here to, jump to the rescue when you finally get diagnosed. Fuck no, I'm not that person. Go to the doctors, because that's what you were listening to this entire time. So go to what you believe in. Like I am all about prevention. And I know, once again, I picked a lifestyle that has no side effects. People aren't in ICU because of broccoli overdoses. People are not in ICU because of lemons and cantaloupe. People are not diabetic because of damn watermelon. That is not it.
Mm-hmm. So as we wind down, Tierra, I just want to ask, I know this is one thing that you're now expanded into product lines. You have face flavor, temple treats. What has that experience been like for you, expanding into the product market? And what, if you could give us one piece of business advice that you've learned throughout that experience, what would it be?
Nothing happens until you decide, everything depends on our decisions, period. So you have to decide either you're going to do something or you're not. Don't half-ass it. Don't continuously think about it. Let it sit in your heart. Let it marinate and then go. Everything on this planet is actionary. Everything inside of your body is actionary. Everything is moving, whether you decide to or not. So you have to make a clear-cut decision. So with my product, literally, I had an amazing partner that truly pushed me into that area of greatness within inside of myself. I was about to allow myself to get stuck in, a redundant cycle of just taking program participants. And my partner at the time was doing a market and was like, hey, you need to have a product. And I'm like, no, who's about to pay for this product? And my partner was like, well, who's going to profit from this product? And at that time, I was going through financial struggles as just about any entrepreneur. It wasn't necessarily a struggle, but it was a low, it was kind of tight. Mm-hmm. It was really tight. And, so I just decided, based off of one of my very succeeding webinars, which was Sensational Skin, I was just basically teaching people how to use nature in order to accomplish amazing skin. So I said, okay, everybody's asking here, what do you use on your skin? I'm like, I don't really use anything. I just kind of mix a whole bunch of oils together and just use that. And I was like, oh, well, okay. Let me just do that for them, because people like convenience. They don't want to go out and buy 9 different oils and then mix it up themselves and so on. They want me to do it. Okay, got it. So that's how face flavor came about.
It's scary.
It is very scary. No, but it's more scary what they swallowing. People are particular about what they putting on their body as opposed to what's in their body.
So this was it was kind of like one of those natural pushes, and it ended up being something that is working for your business, right?
Oh, man, I could not imagine that. And it's only 2, so I have face flavor. I have pain potion, which is basically a all natural. It's Tiger Balm, BioFreeze, and Icy Hot had an all natural base because I'm fit, so in the fit community, I don't want to rub that chemical crap on my skin. And yes, I need that temporary relief and, joint pain and muscle pain and things like that. But I don't want to put that stuff on my body. So that's what pain potion is. And then I have a bamboo charcoal black soap, which is really, really good just for a facial cleanser. Face flavors, once again, which is the facial moisturizer. And I have limited edition products on top of my supplements. So my limited edition products are the temple treats, which is, your body is your temple, right? So it should be treated, right? So it's a body butter. And those things fell out. And, oh, gosh, I can't even keep up with those.
And, I feel like it's just something that I think even within our community, we aren't necessarily teaching ourselves, like you said, what you put on your skin is also so important. Like, I don't get how people, and this is no shade to anybody who uses it, but people who go to like Bath and Body Works or any of these other companies, and you look at the back of the ingredients, and I think you were saying don't count the calories, count the chemicals, and you can bounce all the stuff. And it's just like, how do you feel okay with putting that on your skin? And to me, it's not even nourishing. I don't even get moisturized after I put that stuff on. So it's
not at all
something for us to think about.
Not exactly. I mean, it smells awesome. So just get a candle if you want something, or get that hand sanitizer. At least the hand sanitizer is chemical crap, but you need the chemicals in order to kill the germs. That's fine. But yeah, there's people that have like Bath and Body Works collections and all sorts of different type of chemical collections. And then, we don't think about the long-term effects of these things later on down the line. We're seeing now that women who use Johnson & Johnson baby powder and things like that, they're dying of cervical cancer and breast cancer and all of that type of stuff. So we really have to be mindful of that stuff. So with my body butter, it truly is a treat. And that is one of the reasons why it sells out immediately. like immediately. The moment that I put it up, it literally sells out within minutes. So people like luxury and they want a really good feeling, and all of my energy and all of my resources and everything goes into that as I'm creating it. So I fast, because I'm all about energy. So I fast, I'm listening to podcasts, I'm, singing songs, I'm burning incense, I have candles going, all while I'm in creation mode, because I believe that that energy transfers. And I believe that's one of the reasons why my products are so successful.
One thing that I do want to ask, there's always a person who wants to play devil's advocate, right? Someone listening might be like, but what if you can't afford it? Or what if it's too expensive? Eating healthy and drinking water all the time is too expensive. How would you respond to that person?
I don't live in limitation, so it's definitely kind of hard for me to really respond in those types of spaces. But when you understand that people are only operating from their area of power and perception, so they're only operating from what they know how to operate from. So I literally try to get them to go into their own their own power, because my products are not for everybody. My products are a luxury product. Everybody does not have a luxurious lifestyle. I'm not trying to appeal to everyone, but those who it is truly for people who are looking for 100% quality. They're not looking at the price. They don't care. It's all about the true quality of those things. And, it's one of those things like, okay, you either pay for it now or pay for it on the back end, because it's either going to be switch your deodorant, switch your lotion, switch your toothpaste, switch your food now, or pay medical bills later. You have the choice. So when I think of authentic power, I think of the power that actually occurs when people and purpose aligns with personality to serve for that greater good. And I know that I am operating in my authentic power. So for me, the only real power is the kind that comes from the core of who you are, and it reflects all that you are actually meant to be. So when you see this type of power shining through someone in all of its truth and certainty, it's irresistible, and it's inspiring, and it's elevating. So I only want my reflection and my purpose and my presence here on this planet to authentically be that. You have to be better after meeting me. You have to be better after seeing me or experiencing me.
This conversation, I feel the energy right now. I'm sitting in my hot-ass car. I just turned the air conditioner on. But it's like, I feel like, I can't describe it, but I definitely do feel that vibration. And I feel like all of us should be seeking out the people, seeking out these things that are giving us these positive vibrations instead of these draining, toxic situations that we're allowing ourselves, that we're choosing ourselves to stay in. So thank you so much, Tierra, for this. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. I think that it's really to a place where everybody just has to make a decision. So if you make a decision and watch your life move forward, and that's entrepreneurship, that's finances, that is freedom, that is relationships, that is fitness, that is food. It's all the same. Make a decision and and watch your life move forward.
So let's quickly do our lightning round. I'm going to give you a prompt. I want you to just tell me the first word that comes to mind, okay? Sticking with that whole dreams and drive metaphor. So the first word is park.
Park, grass, trees.
Reverse.
Ceremony, offering, ocean.
Neutral.
Car, vehicle.
And last but not least, drive.
Woo! The Jaguar.
If you want to be a dream driver, you have to have your keys to success. So, Tierra, tell us 3 things that you think every dream driver needs in their toolkit before they hit the road.
They need balance. They need stability. What is the last one? They need discipline.
So important. Thank you so much, Tierra. Can you tell our dream drivers where they can find you online, where they can check out your products, learn more about your offerings, everything? Let us know where we can find you.
Please, everybody, please follow Tierra Goes Green. Now, that is Tierra Goes Green on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on any social media platform. It is also TierraGoesGreen.com. That is where you can find access to my stores, my Amazon stores, all of my products, and a beautiful contact form on how to actually reach me and contact me. So everything is Tierra Goes Green.
And I'll link to everything in the show notes for people who might have some problems linking and finding stuff. You can definitely check out the show notes for this episode at dreamsanddrive.com. Thank you so much, Tierra. Once again, I feel like I got enough light to get me to Friday. So I'm going to carry this momentum forward.
You're very welcome, my love, and thank you so much just for allowing me to actually share this space with you and these awesome questions and this beautiful platform and everything that you are doing in order to inspire the masses around you. So thank you so much about that.
All right, so that's a wrap for episode 165 of Tierra Burrell. I hope you enjoyed hearing her dream driving journey as well as her keys to success. If you love this episode, you know what to do. I love it when you guys are sharing these episodes with your own community, so please continue to tag us, whether that be on Instagram stories, whether that be on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, wherever. You can find us across the board at Dreams and Drive, and you can also use the hashtag Dreams and Drive as well. If you are not getting our weekly newsletter, The Keys, please go to dreamsanddrive.com/join. It's really easy to sign up. And if you want to be part of our Facebook community, you can just go to dreamsanddrive.com/Facebook, or you can just search Dream Driver Mastermind the next time you're logged on. Don't forget to get your Dreams and Drive merchandise, guys. We're having a huge end of summer sale. So go to dreamsanddrive.com/shop to get your Dreams and Drive tees, hoodies, or crew neck sweatshirts. I really do appreciate the support. All that revenue comes back to Dreams and Drive, and I'm able to reinvest it back into the business. And if this is your first time listening to Dreams and Drive, I hope you enjoyed it, but please make sure to subscribe so that you get notifications every time we have a new episode. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Google Play, Google Podcasts, Spotify. You know, we're across the board, so please make sure to hit that subscribe button, guys. I also want to remind you all that I love getting Apple Podcast reviews. So if you have not left an Apple Podcast review or even left a rating, I would so appreciate if you guys did that right now. Those ratings help other people find out about the show, and they also help to push our rankings up in Apple Podcasts. So any love you can show on the ratings or review side, I would definitely appreciate it. We don't have any new reviews to read this week, so if you want to hear your comment on the next episode of Dreams and Drive, you know what to do. All right, keep dreaming, keep driving, and we'll chat again in episode 166. Bye, guys.